Hi everyone. Here I am sitting down to do my first listen to the Megadeth band. And I've been told that it is one of the big four American thrash bands, of which Metallica is another one. And if you remember, if you've been following my journey, you'll remember that Metallica came kind of early in my experience, and it left a big impression on me. I still remember it very well, even though I haven't listened to it once since then. And I've been through so much music since then too. So here I am. I'm going to tackle Megadeth with their song Holy War's The Punishment Due. And I am expecting something hard, heavy, loud. That won't surprise me if that's what it is. I'm curious to see how I can understand it. I know that I had to work a bit with Metallica. I don't know how my ears have developed since then. It'll be interesting. So, here we go. Megadeth, Holy War's The Punishment Due. Okay, that certainly brings back some memories and associations with what I experienced with Metallica. But it's true that I am able to hear more musical material, and I'm able to understand what I'm hearing a little bit better. I wouldn't say I'm expert at it by far, but I am hearing more now, and I guess I'm happy about that. It has this riff, as I've learned to call it, which is kind of it really puts you a little bit on edge and has a sense of urgency to it. And it has this particular little da-dum, ba-dum, da-dum, da-dum feature, which is jumping out at me as being something that is interesting. It adds an extra little dimension to what's going on instrumentally. And another thing I'm noticing, some of you have said this before, that metal music has a lot of similarities with Baroque music. And as I'm listening to this, I'm thinking, I could conceive of this being played by a Baroque orchestra. It would sound very different than what it sounds like here. But composition-wise, it could actually work pretty well. At least so far. So that's interesting to me too, to be able to hear and place different compositional elements in my first listen experience, which I really couldn't do at the first. So now we're to the first verse, and Let me just mark on the music where that is so that you can see in case you want to see. We've gotten this far. And one of the things you'll notice as I'm reading the score, by the way, score. Oh, this is a little bit off topic. Maybe I shouldn't dig into it right now. I should talk about the word score sometime. I'll try to put that on my list of things to discuss at some point and let you in on some things about it. But anyway, in my score here, you'll notice that I am having to turn pages very quickly. And that's because there's really not room on the page for a very long length, because what we have here is we have this whole stack of instruments. And so as the music is progressing along, it's going this direction. And all of these instruments are stacked at once. It's representing all of these instruments at once. So once we get to this point, I can't go to this line here. No, that's already been played by another instrument in that series. So what I'm doing is my eyes are jumping to this block here. It's called a system, by the way. And we're going along this way. And then we have the final system right here. And so really, I only have 3 short lines of music on each page, which is why I have, I don't know how many pages to read through and keep up with. So my eyes are following all of those layers at once. Anyway, just a little detail you might be interested in seeing about how I'm processing and reading this music. If you want to know more about that sort of thing, you can always check out my memberships, because I am doing several courses on music for people who are not very familiar with it, to let you be able to understand and relate to it, perhaps in a way that you haven't in the past. Anyway, let's go on with listening to this, because I'm curious to see how it will develop. So we are now at the first verse, starting "Brother will kill brother." Let's see if we can back it just a bit to get to that.
Brother will kill brother, spilling blood across the land. Yeah, for religion, something I don't understand. Wolves like me will cross the sea and come to foreign lands. That's a shame for their beliefs, till you kill on God's command. A country that's divided surely will not stand. My master race, no more disgrace, no foolish naive stand. Amnesty is crystal clear by the master plan. Go look now to Israel, might be your homeland. Holy wars.
That was interesting. I didn't expect that little acoustic interlude and then the background sound effects in that space. Remember I mentioned that the title of this piece had me curious, Holy Wars. And I wasn't sure how they were going to handle this idea. I see they're pulling us back to this idea of kind of the Crusaders type holy wars. And I'm curious where they're going to go with it. It's also interesting to me that they bring in this reference to Israel. They're really trying to set us in this sort of biblical or very religious mindset. And then, of course, brother will kill brother, or where is that? Killing for religion? Yes, brother will kill brother. So it's definitely something that's developing into a commentary on the way we judge others who are maybe not exactly like us, but perhaps we have more in common than we realize. And that's where the clash comes in, at least so far. So lyrically, that's what I'm noticing. Melodically, again, it's one of those pieces of music that the voice is not really singing a melody, an actual melody. It's more like just a pitch on which you can project sound with some slight variations to allow for the inflections of speech. So, and the instrumental band is what's giving you whatever musical sound you might come up with. Okay, let's go on. I'm curious how it's going to develop from here. It's interesting how suddenly now it's talking about judgment and it becomes much more pounding, like, well, he said, gavels banging, down it goes. The music is reflecting that here, and I caught that right away. Let's do this again, and I'll try not to interrupt so much. Interesting. Okay, so I'm not sure. I'm going to have to think about this a bit because I'm not sure if this is the same narrative voice in this moment of the lyrics where it's talking about this kind of guerrilla warfare, killer for hire, essentially. And I don't know if this change in pitch, which just happened vocally, represents another narrative voice or whether it represents another side to the picture of what's developing here. So I can't settle on an impression that I can say, okay, I see how this is developing now. But obviously, some new element is being brought in, either another person or another side to the experience, another angle to the picture here. Let's go on. Interesting there, the way the voice is taking us down step by step by step. well, more than step by step, octave by octave, range by range. And it's really incredibly expressively impactful here in this moment. I'm still trying to fit together all the picture of what's going on, but I'm beginning to see that probably this seems to be something kind of like And Justice for All by Metallica, where there is some very dark, unjustifiable happenings in the past that have brought this person to this moment. I'm not entirely sure, but this comment about they killed my wife and baby, that's something that suddenly brings a much darker element into it. So I'm going to be paying attention to these words. I remember from Metallica and my comments there that a lot of you said, yes, the lyrics are quite highly developed in this style. And so I will be paying attention to them and not only the music, because the music supports whatever ideas are being conveyed lyrically in this style. I also remember in the Goodbye to Gravity commemorative listen that I did, listening to that piece of music. Again, the lyrics and the message of the lyrics were kind of the purpose of the song in a way. And all of this music has this sort of dark element to it where it seems to be fighting against something that is unjust or evil or wrong in some way. So I can see how this fits in that subgenre, genre, style, whatever you want to call it. They seem to fit together. But let's go on and let's see how this goes from here. Interesting sound effects there. I have my ears more open to trying to notice. I'm really trying to develop my understanding of the sounds of the guitar right now since I had that little introduction with Graham. So I'm noticing those things, and I don't know what all the effects are called, but that's okay. At least I'm able to notice and realize that's something intentional and worthwhile to pay attention to. All right. okay. And it ends there. It goes through so much ideologically. I need a little bit of time to let it settle. And what I want to do is I want to look and see how much of this music, because I'm beginning to understand now, this music doesn't always have a specific purpose, like specific moments. The music isn't always enlightening the text or illuminating the text. Let me say it that way. The music isn't always illuminating the text by what it's doing. Very often, it's a bigger picture of the emotions within the text. What I mean is, sometimes when a composer writes music and they intend to set lyrics, words, text to the music, they will go through every little phrase of that text and think of how to shape the music so that that particular phrase is developed musically underneath it as well. I call that illuminating the text. I think of the old medieval manuscripts where we have these beautifully handwritten, illuminated manuscripts with colors and all sorts of stuff on one single letter. But here, it's not exactly that. It's more like somebody took a dark set of lyrics and they said, overall, what is this impression? What is the feeling that this gives? What is the feeling I want to convey? And they pick an overall mood or feel that they then build into the music throughout, regardless of what every little phrase and subphrase is saying within the lyrics. So it's not a criticism, what I'm saying. It's simply an observation that this music is not taking the minute illumination approach. It's more taking the broader, what is the overall impression I want to leave with the audience, with the listener. And so I'm going to look at this music in that way. And you will see, after I've spent some days with it and thinking about it, you will be able to follow this link here. And you can see what I discover and how I dig into it in that next video. So there we are. There's my first listen, first impression, and second exposure to American thrash. Although I've listened to a couple other heavy songs which don't follow in that exact category, I'm beginning to see similarities and differences. I'll see you soon.